Well, I've had a very hostile response to my last video from people who think that my political views represent a betrayal of atheism or of science or of ordinary civilized values. In fact, I can't remember having quite as many metaphorical fingers poking my chest as I've had for the last week, but it hasn't been an altogether unpleasant experience. It's really quite amazing what you can learn about yourself from other people's perceptions. I mean, here I was thinking that I'm a liberal-minded, freedom-loving Democrat at heart, when in fact what I really am is a monstrous, hypocritical, right-wing, reactionary, xenophobic, jingoistic, flag-waving little Englander. A bigoted throwback who's scientifically illiterate and morally reprehensible. And not only that, I ought to be thoroughly ashamed of myself, and frankly I'm an embarrassment to anybody with a brain or any kind of decent human values. That's quite a lot of responsibility, isn't it? I only hope that I can do you all justice and live up to it. You know, moral outrage is always fairly amusing, but when it comes laced with the patronising righteousness of the liberal left, it's very hard for me not to laugh out loud, and I've been laughing quite a lot this week, so thank you all very much indeed for that. Some of you atheists are so hopping mad, it wouldn't surprise me if you started to believe in God just to ensure there was no possibility of having anything in common with the likes of me. What can I say? Well, I can respect anyone who disagrees with me politically, and I don't even mind a few insults because I know that political views are often held with great passion. But I think some people, in their eagerness to condemn me as a fascist, really only heard what they wanted to hear and missed the point of the video, which was to encourage people to vote for someone who actually shares their values in order to enhance our democracy and strengthen all our freedom, and to vote against those career politicians who want to take away our right to defend ourselves from them at the ballot box, the only defence that we have. The clue was in the title, in case anybody missed it. Of course, I realise democracy is a dirty word to many people on the left, so okay, I apologise if it shocked or offended anyone's delicate sensibilities or hurt their tender feelings, and I do hope that you'll be able to find it in your hearts, once the pain has subsided, to forgive me for having had the temerity to vote with my conscience and not with yours. You see, for me, this is a single-issue election, because without the right of self-determination, all politics is merely an empty charade, you know, like we have at the moment. Of course, I don't agree with all UKIP policies any more than I do with any other party. So no, I'm not voting for climate change scepticism or for homeopathy or for anti-disestablishmentarianism. Try saying that with a mouthful of marbles. I'm voting for something that isn't on offer from any of the other parties because it's a bit too democratic for them and because they know very well what the outcome would be. I'm voting for a principle that would resonate with the authors of the American Constitution, one of the greatest documents ever written, the right of the people to decide who governs them, a right that has been taken away from us without permission and that I want to see restored. And it's by far the most important issue for me in this election. It's way more important than atheism or science or anything else because it holds the key to our freedom. Now, although I'm an atheist, my argument with religion has always been political and not theological. I think debating whether or not God exists is about as pointless as arguing about football or Star Trek episodes. Everybody's right and everybody's wrong, and none of it matters. What does matter is what people do with their beliefs, and the license they take from them to behave in ways that impinge on other people's freedom is really what concerns me about religion. Yes, of course, I think it's all nonsense, but if that's all it was, I wouldn't have a problem with it. Unfortunately, it's dangerous nonsense, because the privileged status we give religion out of respect for the spiritual is always exploited politically, especially by the two fascist religions of Christianity and Islam. And right now, in Britain, indeed all over Europe, Islam is being allowed to exploit it to the hilt and beyond by playing not only the religion card but also the culture card and the race card in a kind of three-card trick that intimidates us into censoring ourselves, lying to ourselves and insulting our own intelligence in a way that disempowers us. However, I think Islam is only a threat in the way a dangerous dog is a threat when it's enabled by an irresponsible moron. And Islam is being enabled by the irresponsible politics of the multicultural left, and that's what I'm voting against. So, in a nutshell, I'm voting for self-determination and against the multicultural left and every ugly, cowardly little thing it stands for, and I'm not really paying very much attention to any of the other policies. They can all wait until the basics are fixed. And yes, you can call it a protest vote, because that's what it is, for a protest party that wouldn't even need to exist if the politicians had the courage to trust the people in the way they're always asking the people to trust them, even though they've shown us repeatedly that they are not fit to be trusted. And this seems to me like a very lopsided arrangement, and that's why I'm trying to do my bit, however small, to correct it. And I urge you to do the same, because you may never get another chance. And that's what I was saying in the previous video, and that's what I'm saying now. So, go on, go ahead, when you've finished all your whining, and do the right thing. Betray atheism, and betray science, for the sake of freedom. Just this once, you know you really want to. And I'll see you on the other side of this election with a nice little video all about Jesus. What a relief. Peace, but not without freedom.